odd order the most.
Yes, we see knight f3 has been played.
So there's big theory. Of course, I think rook e8 is the main move here. I'm a bit surprised about this early move, g3, bishop g2. I think everybody usually starts with knight f3 first, not to give black this opportunity. You could see the German grandmaster stop there for a moment, try to figure out what to do. You might ask me, Angelica, how do I know this? I mean, I've wrote a chess course on this, so I know everything about this position.
So if you know everything, you're huge an expert. I don't know much about it, or even I can say not at all, but it looks like e4 is a huge move. You're pushing the pawn, but aren't you losing a pawn on e4?
No, this is reversed Rossolimo, so bishop takes on c3 now happens. Black is perfectly safe. You know, actually it's pretty interesting that Vincent plays this now with the black's perspective, because he played this really fascinating game in the classical tournament about beating Prague from the white's perspective. So in the Prague, from the white's perspective, Vincent already showed that he knows exactly what's happening here. So that's why I think, Angelica, he's really familiar with the setup.
Yes, and Liêm is also trying to go for it. He castled. Now the question is, where do you develop the bishop? And we see actually queen c2 first played, attacking the pawn on e4.
Yeah, this is one of those other... I think here black's best idea is to play a5, a4, if I remember correctly from my course. So black grabs a lot of space. Knight b6. I'm not sure I like this move, because white is going to play b3 and the knight on b6 doesn't really do much. But we are going to see g5, very aggressive.
Very aggressive. Where do you put the knight here? I mean, you cannot go on d5.
He just missed knight e5. Oh my goodness, Vincent. He just missed it. He thought that knight e5 is impossible, because he's going to capture the knight on d5, and he forgot the pawn on e4 is under attack. But by the way, can he still do it? Because now I see there's knight c3 move. This is not what he wanted.
This is not over, but he's undoubling the pawns for white, and white is actually the one who has a bishop pair. For Liêm, it's a huge advantage right now. Bishop f5 has been played, but c4 is the move to follow, and bishop b2 is going to be a dangerous bishop on b2, x-raying this whole diagonal.
This is a disaster for Winston, because he got a very nice position. This one move g5, unfortunately, the viewers, this is what happens when you play the move too quickly at the wrong moment. One sort of mouse slip, so to speak, right? You miss knight e5, and the pace of the game now completely changes. There's going to be a very powerful battery of the queen and the bishop on the long diagonal.
Knight e7 been played. Knight is going for the e5 square, trying to block that very dangerous bishop on b2. How do you stop those two bishops? They're super strong.
Vincent bought the chessable course. I highly doubt it, but thank you for the compliment. Really, Korean knife, I appreciate that. I think at this level, those super grandmasters, they have their own preparation. Rook e1 here, you can see Liêm led the two-time winner of the triathlon. He's prepping to play either f3 or f4 and rip apart black's king side.
Yeah, by the way, you always have some ideas with queen c3. Black has to watch out for, because this diagonal, and queen c3 has been playing immediately on the board. There are problems for black on the dark squares. How do you stop it? He plays f6.
Oh, bishop h3 is incoming. I think here white's position is just fantastic. Wait, here Liêm missed it. Okay, maybe bishop h3 is still a possibility. Hitting the knight on d7, and then the pawn on f6 might fall as well. White has an absolutely dominating position. Winston knows that he's in major trouble here.
Bishop h3 is being played on the board. Bishop e6 is an idea. Bishop takes d7. How do you stop it? Isn't Vincent simply collapsing out of the opening?
This is a very dangerous moment for Kamer, because right now it looks like he is the #1 candidate not to make it in top 4, because it is Prague who is overtaking him in the overall rankings right now by 1.5 points, and he simply cannot afford to lose this game.
This is the last chance for German #1 to still stay in the lead. Not still in the lead, but stay in the tournament. King h7 been played, but is there simply bishop takes d7 and queen f6?
I think you're right. Just collect the pawn on f6, and then, as they say, the obstacle bishop in an attack feels like an extra piece, but there's so many tempting positions. Look at that. Here, the Vietnamese grandmaster says, no, I want more. He positions the bishop on e6, and then the pawn on e3 is falling as well.
He wants to dominate. He can always take the pawn on e3. f5 could be an idea, or taking on the pawn on g5. Oh my god, this looks crazy.
He really has to hope that Praggnanandhaa is going to lose his game. Otherwise, if Vincent loses right now, Praggnanandhaa wins, the margin between them is going to be 2.5 points for only 3 blitz games. It makes it almost impossible to recover. So that's why here, of course, Vincent is trying to hold on and pray that something happens also in Prague's game. We'll see.
Yes, and here trade on f4 has been played. Rook f4 is there, and The pawn is being under attack on f6. Looks like hopeless position for Vincent. What can he do?
I suggest, Angelica, I think here Vincent's position looks really terrible. He looks to be set to lose this game because I don't believe that Liêm is going to mess this up. Since we're talking about Praggnanandhaa racing together with Vincent, who is going to qualify for top 4, let's go to this game. Praggnanandhaa, he's playing his game against Abhimanyu Mishra. By the way, one of the this
the rook
is
and the bishop against the rook.
All right, Angelica, how is your technique in rook and bishop versus rook?
I have won already one game with rook and bishop against the rook. So yeah, I made my opponent to blunder. I mean, he was defending very well, but at the moment he just collapsed. So.
Oh,